Well, FAFSA's website is finally fully functional after students across the country experienced a lot of difficulty filing for their financial aid. After speaking with John Wood Community College in Quincy, officials say it's the most critical time for students to make sure they have everything completely filled out. Now, the FAFSA is used to gain the best chance for success in their education. John Wood's president explains about how they're making that process more accessible to everyone.
So we would encourage people to go online and fill out their FAFSA. If they need help, to come to John Wood Community College. They can come up here at any time, but we'll also have several events that will be coming up across the month of August and even into September to help folks complete that.
As for what's next, John Wood will partner with Bella Ease in Quincy on August 6th from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. to help encourage everyone to complete their FAFSA. With the new improvements to the system, the previous troubles are gone and the process is much easier to navigate. And speaking of John Wood, it announced a tuition freeze during its meeting yesterday. In a news release, the Board of Trustees said that they approved a budget of more than $19 million, which includes a $0 increase in tuition and universal fees. The board also announced increases in state funding and a lowering of the property tax rate, which they say will bring an additional $400,000+ in revenue.